edition of the Last Scout Show, a radio edition on this St. Patrick's Day 2018. Wishing you all well. Thinking of all my Irish brethren across the big pond on this day. Thinking about the potato famine and how the Cherokee Indians during the Irish potato famine came to the rescue. Not the Cherokee, I'm sorry, it was another tribe up in the Northeast. Came to the rescue of the Irish during the potato famine. Look it up. Well, I thought about, should I do a whole St. Patty's show, or should I get to other topics? And I decided, well, I'll kind of mix the two up. But what a glorious day on St. Patrick's Day, wherever you are. Unless you're in Chicago, New York, LA, it might be a different story there for you. I'm sure somehow or another, St. Patty's Day is associated with white supremacy somewhere in somebody's little bitty wormy mind. And let's just go ahead and get started. Speaking of wormy minds, well, late yesterday evening, Sessions let Deputy Director, now former Deputy Director, FBI, Andrew McCabe go. And I'm sure there's going to be a big firestorm over this. You know there's going to be. I mean, here's one thing about it, with the way the politics are going in this country right now. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. It doesn't matter if you're Trump, it doesn't matter if you're Sessions, you're going to hit criticism. Even I've been critical where I thought criticism should lay. But what I thought was really interesting was Andy McCabe's statement in his response to Jeff Sessions firing him. And this is what the former FBI Deputy Director wrote. I have been an FBI agent for over 21 years. I spent half of that time investigating Russian organized crime as a street agent and supervisor in New York City. I have spent the second half of my career focusing on national security issues and protecting this country from terrorism. I served in some of the most challenging, demanding, investigative, and leadership roles in the FBI, and I was privileged to serve as Deputy Director during a particularly tough time. Yeah, I bet you were. I bet when you're trying to overthrow the President of the United States or trying to overthrow an election as a political hack that you are, Andy, that I bet it was a very tough time. To continue on, for the last year and a half, my family and I have been the targets of an unrelenting assault on our reputation and my service to this country. Gee, I wonder why, Andy. Articles too numerous to count have leveled every sort of false, defamatory, and degrading allegation against us. The President's tweets have amplified and exasperated it all. He called for my firing. He called for me to be stripped of my pension after more than 20 years of service. And all along we have said nothing, never wanting to distract from the mission of the FBI by addressing the lies told and repeated about us. No, you political treasonous hack. What you did is, you didn't want to bring up and talk about it because you didn't want to distract from the FBI. No, you didn't want the hotlight on yourself. And it is now. It reminds me of one of them old black and white movies. I can just see it now. To where there's this really grungy ass, graded hard ass cop that's been at it for years. It's a real cynic. And on the other side sits a wormy ass McKay at a little table, and on this table is that one big glowing light bulb shining right in his face while the cigar chomping detective hardcore whatever gives it to him. That's what I'm hoping he's getting. Anyway, continuing on, He writes, "No more. The investigation by the Justice Department's Office of Inspector General, OIG, has to be understood in the context of the FBI attacks on my credibility. The investigation flows from my attempt to explain the FBI's involvement and my supervision of investigations involving Hillary Clinton." Yeah, no, you weren't trying to explain. You were trying to lead the narrative down a rabbit hole to get away from what you created and were deeply involved with. I was being portrayed in the media over and over as a political partisan accused of closing down investigations under political pressure. Oh, let me think. I don't know, what, $7,000 to my wife's campaign to run for representative from Virginia from, what's that crappy ass Virginia governor you guys used to have? McAuliffe, that's it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's not political pressure to shut down on anything. Whatever. One of Hillary Clinton's best friends. Nothing was further from the truth. In fact, this entire investigation stems from my efforts, fully authorized under FBI rules, to set the record straight on behalf of the Bureau and to make clear that we were continuing an investigation that people in the DOJ opposed. Yeah, FBI rules. And you know what? FBI rules change under every administration, so we're talking about under Obama's FBI. The OIG investigation has focused on information I chose to share with a reporter through my public affairs officer and a legal counselor. As deputy director, I wonder if that legal counselor was Paige, what's her name? You know, the one that was having the affair with the married agent, 007. What's his name? Peter Strauss. Yeah, I wonder if that's the same counselor. Anyway, as deputy director, I was one of the only a few people who had the authority to do that. It was not a secret. It took place over several days, and others, including the director, were aware of the interaction with the reporter. It was the type of exchange with the media that the deputy director oversees several times per week. In fact, it was the same type of work that I continued to do under Director Ray at his request. The investigation subsequently focused on who I talked to, when I talked to them, and so forth. During these inquiries, I answered questions truthfully and as accurately as I could amidst the chaos that surrounded me. And when I thought my answers were misunderstood, I contacted investigators to correct them. Okay, yeah, man, Andy, you just trying to lead that narrative. Anyway, and it goes on and on and on, and you got to check it out if you get a chance to. It's quite interesting. Let me see if there's any other part I want to read about it. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and finish up the whole thing. Here's the reality. I am being singled out and treated this way because of the role I played, the actions I took, and the events I witnessed in the aftermath of the firing of James Comey. Oh, boo. The release of this report was accelerated only after my testimony to the House Intelligence Committee revealed that I would corroborate former Director Comey's accounts of his discussions with the President. The OIG's focus on me in this report became a part of an unprecedented effort by the administration, driven by the President himself, to remove me from my position, destroy my reputation, and possibly strip me of my pension that I worked 21 years to earn. The accelerated release of the report and the punitive actions taken in response makes sense only when viewed through this lens. See, it makes sense if you view it the way that McCabe does. Now, the rest of us, you know, they're treated as stupid by these people. And you know what I'm talking about. The rest of us, see, we can't see it because we're not looking at it through McCabe's eyes. Well, see, it's hard for me to look at it through McCabe's eyes because, see, I'm not a dirty cop that is trying to overthrow the President of the United States, or would I ever think like that on my darkest days? I didn't even think about anything like that during Obama. So see, as long as you think like, and here's the conspiracy theorist, as long as you think as a conspirator like McCabe did, that is the only way you will understand. Thursday's comments from the White House are just the latest example of this. Hold on, lost my place. There we go. This attack on my credibility is one part of a larger effort not just to slander me personally, but to taint the FBI, law enforcement, intelligence professionals more generally. It is part of this administration's ongoing war on the FBI and the efforts of the Special Counsel investigation, which continue to this day. Their persistence in this campaign only highlights the importance of the Special Counsel's work. No, Andy. The FBI is not under attack, law enforcement is not under attack, and intelligence professionals are not under attack by the Trump administration. Those that are under attack by Americans and the Trump administration are you people that violate the oath you took to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. You, the lawbreakers. That are the people. Those are the ones. God, let me rephrase that one. Mess it up. You are the ones that the Trump administration is after. And I will submit to you, not only the Trump administration, but we hard-working Americans. We want your dirty ass kind out of there. And we want you convicted. I have always prided myself on serving my country with distinction and integrity, and I always encourage those around me to do the same. Just ask them. To have my career in this way and to be accused of lacking candor when at worst I was distracted in the midst of chaotic events is incredibly disappointing and unfair. But it will not erase the important work I was privileged to do to be a part of, the results of which will be revealed for the country to see. Yes, Andy, all will be revealed, and the truth shall set you, John Brennan, and James Clapper free. I have unfailing health in the men and women of the FBI, and I am confident that their efforts to seek justice will not be deterred. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Former Deputy Director of the FBI, Andrew McCabe's statement. He's so persecuted. Anyway, I'm going to take a short break, and I'll be right back.
If you had a friend who was a king, what kind of a gift would you give him? Well, there are many people of prominence who have been thrilled to receive this. Zenith's famous 9-band transoceanic, the world's most exciting radio. Powered to tune in the world. You'll find every Zenith radio, from the famous transoceanic to the tiniest pocket transistor, is built in the Zenith quality tradition, including super-sensitive FM/AM radios, handsome table and clock radios, and powerful solid-state portables. Over 100 radios to choose from, priced to fit every gift budget. At Zenith, the quality goes in before the name goes on. If you're buying a radio for a king, a friend, or for yourself, why not get the best?
Ireland, an ancient land steeped in thousands of years of history.
First discovered by Alistair Wood.
Just this morning. The Dingle Peninsula was discovered on horseback by dentist Malcolm Evans. And it was in this very restaurant in Belfast
that Claire Griffin discovered Guinness.
Discover your very own Ireland at discoverireland.com.
And we are back. The last Scout Show radio edition. And on this St. Patrick's Day, you really can't say anything Irish without thinking about nuns in some cases. And I tell you what, this one really chapped me that I'm about to bring up to you. And it all has to do with that singer, what's her name, Katy Perry. And getting entangled in a major lawsuit to take over a convent. Yeah, you heard me, to take over a convent from a group of nuns. And going back and forth and having to go to court, and oh man, what a mess. What just a mess. So anyway, there was an 89-year-old nun, Sister Catherine Rose Halsman, who was involved in the lawsuit trying to save a convent that Katy Perry so desperately wanted. And Katy Perry tried to buy it from the Archdiocese of Los Angeles back in 2014 for $15 million. And it's just a sad story. It ended up in court. Like, the 89-year-old was one of two nuns who had tried to sell the convent where they lived to a restaurant owner, Dana Hollister, for just $44,000 as an alternative to selling it to the pop star. Okay, Katy Perry. They did not want to sell that to her. And they had their reasons. I mean, it just, I don't want to get into the whole case. It's just a sad situation. I don't even know what to say. I can't believe that, you can look it up and find out the very meaning particulars. The only thing I know is that for some reason, a young person who wanted something so bad was willing to go into court and fight nuns over who to sell this convent to. It's just, do you really, Katy Perry, was it worth it? I don't know. I hear some really strange stories about you, and I gotta wonder, where your heart is. But I mean, man, you know what? You're going to have a lot of karma come back on you for this one. An elderly nun? Really? An elderly nun. So disappointing. So disappointing. But we can take great care and to know that Katy Perry still doesn't have the convent. And hopefully, even with this end result, she will not get the convent. That's what we're hoping. That's what I'm hoping anyway. So, I hope you have all a good day today on this St. Patrick's Day 2018. From the Last Scout, may your days be merry. May your nights be blessed, and may you never be caught out in a cold wind without something to pull around your shoulders. From the Missouri-Kansas border, small-town rural America, this has been the Last Scout Show. Thanks for dropping in. Take care, and God bless.